wonderful, crazy, a lot, full on. He's any actor's dream.
It doesn't happen to an actor that he'll be offered a part like that, ever. Except maybe it does. I wonder where this man gets his energy from.
So we open up a bottle of rosé, start pouring some glasses, open up another bottle, at some point maybe a smoking apparatus. Brad actually counted the empty bottles and the number totaled to 7. I just don't want to be an old man filmmaker. I want all my films to have the same exuberance that Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction have. I kind of look forward to the idea of maybe being a man of letters from that point on, writing novels, writing film criticism or something, but we'll see.
Diane, lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
I saw the film last night and I've been annoying all of my workmates all morning who don't want to hear anything about it because they don't want you to spoil it. So I'm so glad to be here to actually get to talk to people about it. Brilliant, absolutely
thank you.
brilliant. And your performance is amazing.
I'm glad you liked it.
Working with Quentin Tarantino, what was that like?
Oh, it's everything that you could imagine from Quentin, right? So it's wonderful, crazy, a lot, full on, but the most rewarding experience I've had so far.
And we know he's obviously a legend, but what makes
Right.
him so special? What is it? How is he different to other directors?
Well, first of all, he has his very specific tone of movies. I think they really stand apart. You know, you can always tell when you see a Quentin Tarantino movie, there's no doubt that's his film. His writing is incredible. There's a certain, tone about everything that he does, the characters that he creates that are very different. And then he is a living movie library, right? He knows everything. He's seen every movie, if not once, at least twice. He just, he's any actor's dream.
Now, when you first got the script and you were reading it, were you just like, where does this stuff come from? Oh my, could you believe what you were reading?
The script was not only the script was amazing, but especially my character, when you're an actor and you get sent a script and you sort of reading it for yourself, obviously. So when I read the script and I read about Bridget, it blew me away. I thought, wow, he wrote this obviously for me. I felt like he was talking to me, and I felt very much like that when we were actually doing the movie. I felt like I knew this character backwards, and I felt like I was born to play this character.
When you finally got to see the finished product, did you do what I did? And it was a lot of this.
Yes.
Like at the end, I literally watched the
at the
final
end.
scene.
Well, to me, the sculpting was the most, I was like, oh, God, I don't, I was surprised. First time I saw it, which was in Cannes, of all places. Well, first of all, I was surprised of how funny it actually was. I thought it was going to be a lot more serious. And then there were a couple of moments where I cannot believe he just did this. I was blown away.
The film is really funny.
Yes.
And I loved the scene with you guys in the basement with the secret meeting and like the tension in that scene. And brilliant. I mean, was that one of your favourite scenes?
It was definitely the most exhausting scene to shoot in terms of just, that it was such a long scene, and Quentin's famous for doing really long takes, sometimes 10 minutes, if not longer. And so even if you're not on, you're on. And I had about 15 pages of dialogue in that scene. So we rehearsed the scene for 2 weeks and then shot it over the course of 2 weeks. So it was a lot.
Now, of course, you mentioned you went to Cannes with the film, and where Christoph won the prize for
I
Best
know.
Actor. He's brilliant in this film, isn't he?
I know, but that's what Quentin's great is, Christoph had been working for 30 years. I had never heard of him, ever. And he just has this talent for picking out people that are, these raw talents that haven't been recognized. And, he blew me away. And on set, it was very obvious of what a great actor he was. And this character, obviously it's has to do with the part being so great and the material being so great. But Christoph, he is he's the man.
Yeah. Of course, you were in Cannes with your lovely partner, Joshua Jackson. Would you guys ever do a film together? we ever see you on screen?
If he has time to fit it in, he's been very busy shooting Fringe, but yeah, sure, I'd love that. Why not?
Lovely. Well, it's lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I felt it was an absolute privilege to be watching it last night.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Well, Christoph, it's lovely to meet you. I saw the film last night, and I'm so glad to be here to be able to talk to people about it, because at work everyone was like, don't tell me anything. So it's really nice to actually finally sit down and talk to you. You're brilliant.
Thank you.
What an amazing performance and an amazing character. Some great lines you had to work with.
Right. Consider who wrote the lines. I didn't. Who wrote the part? I didn't. Who wrote the story? I didn't. So that puts things in the proper perspective. It doesn't happen to an actor that he'll be offered a part like that, ever. Except maybe it does. And that it was like, it must be you. So it was me, but still, that's how I feel.
And when you got the call, what was your reaction?
Well, I can't remember. It was
a blur.
A blur. Well, I probably had. I'd have to go into hypnosis or some drug to kind of, take me back into the thing. It was. Actually, it was not even the start of the process. The very beginning was from the very beginning. My first encounter with the process was probably the first call from my agent. Would you go to the casting? And it kind of started very, very small, and it grew and grew and grew, and it never stopped to this day. I'm very curious to see it out on Leicester Square. Excuse me. Fantastic. It's still going on, even though we finished shooting in February.
And working with Quentin Tarantino, we know he's a legend, but what is it when you're on set with him that makes him so special?
Well, actually that he facilitates this constant development, this constant movement. There is no stopping. I mean, I wonder where this man gets his energy from, he pulls the whole thing, and constantly. We started shooting in October. We took a Christmas break, and after the Christmas break, he came back with 50 pages of alterations, comments, new ideas. 50 pages. Other writers do that in a year. He does that in 2 weeks, and all of that was a reaction to what he's got, to keep the thing going, and take it even further than he would have imagined. So unbelievable.
Well, I have to say as well done for the prize, the Cannes Prize, the Best Actor Prize.
Thank you.
And everyone's talking about Oscar buzz and linking your name with an Academy Award.
Not everybody.
Yes,
I don't.
Okay, everyone apart from you. Everyone out there's talking about it.
That's nice. I take it as a compliment, and if you allow me to, I wouldn't want to take it as any more than that.
Oh, well, it's lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Quentin, so good to meet you.
My pleasure.
An amazing film.
Oh, thank you.
You don't need me to tell you that, though, do you?
You know what? It's still very fresh in my mind. I mean, I don't really have the distance that I normally have on a movie, so it's wonderful to hear.
And I read you were working on this for like 10 years, is that true?
More or less, yes. I mean, it's vaguely deceptive about that. But what happened was, back in, right after Jackie Brown, which is 1998, I came up with the idea, which basically is a bunch of Jewish American soldiers are behind enemy lines, and they're doing an Apache resistance against the Third Reich. So I came up with that idea, and I came up with a lot of the characters that are in the movie today, but I had a whole different storyline involved. And it just was too all-encompassing. It was just too big. I had the opposite of writer's block. I couldn't stop writing, basically. And so I was writing on it, and at a certain point I realized, okay, this isn't even a movie. I mean, this might be a 12-hour miniseries, but it's not a movie. So I put it aside and did other things. And then I decided to go back to it in 2008, and I realized it was the story that was the problem that made me not be able to finish it way back when. So I took the same characters and a couple of the introduction scenes of some of the characters, and then I came up with a whole new storyline, and that I figured I could do as a movie.
Now tell us about that drunken night with Brad Pitt.
That was a good time. That was a good time.
It sounds like you had a good night.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, basically, I sent him the script. I had heard that he really liked it and was interested in talking to me about it. So I flew up to his home in the south of France. He lives on a vineyard. And so we got there, and since he lives on a vineyard, he actually has a really wonderful rosé. That's one of the things of his vineyard. So we open up a bottle of rosé, start pouring some glasses, having a bit of a chat about the movie. Open up another bottle. At some point, maybe a smoking apparatus, finds its way on the table, and ultimately decided to do the movie and decided that we were in love with each other. And but the next morning, Brad actually counted the empty bottles, and the number totaled to 7.
Impressive.
It was very impressive.
Tell me you're not going to retire at 60.
Well, we'll see. The minute you make a declarative statement like that, you're probably going to be wrong, but it'll be around that time. I just don't want to be an old man filmmaker. I want all my films to have the same exuberance that Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction have. And, if you just look at directors' careers, that really is not the case when you get to that age. And I kind of look forward to the idea of maybe being a man of letters from that point on, writing novels, writing film criticism or something. But we'll see.
Oh, well, I definitely look forward to a Quentin Tarantino novel.
I look forward to that too.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
You're a star.